Hello! It's a beautiful day here today. I hope it's a nice day where you are. I'm Red, and today I'm going to be reading some r/MaliciousCompliance. Are you ready? Here's the first story. I must check for any place a person can hide during a fire drill. Okay, let's see how that works out for you. I worked in a building where I was the fire marshal. No extra money and a small amount of extra work, but someone has to do it. I was also first aider and somehow got landed arranging the Christmas night out, so maybe the building manager saw me as an easy mark. The only advantage I had was during a drill or a real event, I had absolute power. Anyone not following an evacuation order swiftly was called up for disciplinary action. We had random drills, about 12 per year. My job was to ensure that the building was clear. Basically pop my head in each office space, toilets, kitchens, etc. and see that nobody was there, and then take a register outside. 5 minutes tops. Anyone booked into the building that was not registered by me was in trouble. The drills were sprung on me as well, as the building manager had the fire alarm keys, and it made a more realistic test. The building manager was a dick. He wielded his small amount of power as much as he could and loved to report people for tiny infractions. During one drill, he hid in a cupboard and then called me into his office for failing to ensure that the building was clear. Apparently, some people may run and hide from a fire instead of leaving the building. I got a wagging finger and told to do better next time or I would lose the marshal role. My job was pretty safe since nobody actually wanted to take over, and after hearing the story of me getting in trouble, they absolutely did not want the job. The building manager changed the fire marshal process instruction to include checking hiding places. This is a site instruction. He had no power to do so, I later found out. Malicious compliance begins. The alarm went off, the first after my failure to check cupboards. Everyone left, crossed the road and stood in the assembly point. And this is very important. The rain and wind. I searched the top floor very carefully, opening up large cupboards, opening up boxes large enough to hide a person in, looking under each desk in case someone was hiding. First floor, ditto. By now people were cold and wet and unhappy, but building manager refused to let them enter. He knew that it was coming and he was well prepared for the weather. Most people had light clothing on as the car park stood next to the building. They didn't bother with coats in the 20-feet trip from car to building. Ground floor checked everywhere, and finally the basement where the boiler lives and is a general dumping ground for old files and junk. That took ages, but I was thorough, very thorough, and slow. Thorough slow, not taking the piss slow. I left the building, took the register, and a mass of sodden people headed back into the building. I was massively unpopular until I showed them the PI that said I had to check all spaces that someone could hide. They knew what happened at the last test and directed all the anger at the building manager. It was the equivalent of the angry villagers turning up at Castle Frankenstein with torches and pitchforks. People were furious at him. One of the office staff was a union rep and reported him to the site safety officer, who went ballistic at him, telling me to remain in a potentially burning building longer than necessary. A number of people went home to get dry clothes, and the company had to give them special leave to do so, or else the union would have to get involved. He got crap from all sides: workers, union, management, and site safety officer. Most of the time nothing gets done when it's just you complaining, but it really gets done when the correct people are inconvenienced. What an idiot though, like, yeah, take time and check everywhere. Like, that's why you have drills, so people don't run and hide in the freaking cupboard. I mean, if you're having like one drill a month like this, people should be prepared enough to just leave. Are you ready for another one? Are you ready? Ready? Here it comes. You think it's disgusting when I dispose of tampons appropriately in the garbage can? Okay. This happened to me about 8 years back. It was the summer before my senior year in high school, and my best friend at the time invited me to come stay with her and her dad's family in Florida for 2 weeks. Much to my chagrin, on a beach vacation no less, I got my period. I had brought supplies with me just in case and disposed of them wrapped up in toilet paper in the lidded garbage can in the shared bathroom we were using, as one does. The third day of the trip, her dad approached me to say that my friend's stepbrother who lived with them had seen my period products in the bathroom garbage can. Like, were you digging around in there, you weirdo? And was disgusted by it. He asked me not to throw them out there so his son wouldn't have to see that again. A lot harder to see them to avoid, in my opinion, but I digress. I asked him where he suggested I dispose of my disgusting products then, to avoid upsetting his son. I thought it was kind of a ridiculous request since this is a natural body process I can't control. But I wanted to do what I could since I was a guest there. But this man goes, just hold it in until we go out to dinner. Just hold it in until we go out to dinner or something and throw it out in a public restroom. Sir, you have a daughter. How could you not know that that's not how things work? When I asked him what I should do if that wasn't an option, he said, just flush it then, so he doesn't have to see it. Cue malicious compliance. Yes, sir. Instead of wrapping up my used tampon in some toilet paper and tucking it into the trash can that has a goddamn lid, I will flush it down the toilet instead. The first one went down just fine. The second time it went down with a gurgle, but the third one made the toilet back up and overflow. I'll always remember the sight of my friend's dad pumping that toilet, only for a partially dissolved bloody tampon to float to the surface of the bowl. I went back to putting them in the trash and he didn't say another word about it. I'm sorry, how do people not know how this works? Are they, like, really? And he has a daughter? And also, like, he's a grown man. He should understand. There's such a lack of education around this. I don't know. But never flush anything down the toilet that shouldn't go down there. You know, the toilet is for, you know, what we do in the toilet and toilet paper. Never flush anything else. It's just stupid. And there's nothing more annoying than a clogged toilet. I tell you, as someone who currently has a clogged toilet that has to be fixed. I hope you guys enjoyed those r/malicious compliance stories read by me. Please give the video a like if you did enjoy them, and don't forget to subscribe as well if you haven't done that. Thank you so much for watching today, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.